So Acts 1, the volume is good now. I think I'm going to just trim that off the beginning also. And let's get going with it. Same thing happened in Iconium. I'm sure I didn't pronounce that correctly. Paul and Barnabas went to the Jewish synagogue and preached with such power that a great number of both Jews and Greeks became believers. Some of the Jews, however, spurned God's message and poisoned the minds of the Gentiles against Paul and Barnabas. But the apostles stayed there a long time, preaching boldly about the grace of our Lord. And the Lord proved their message was true by giving them power to do miraculous signs and wonders. But the people of the town were divided in their opinion about them. So, you got some sheep, you got some goats. Hey, that's like it is here. Some sided with the Jews and some with the apostles. Then a mob. So in this context, Jews represent goats. So it just, whenever you see Gentile or Israel or Jews, you have to always look at the context. Then a mob of Gentiles and Jews, along with their leaders. So this is those of the bloodline that didn't like it, which were all of the Jews in this case. And then some not of the bloodline were also goats and were very angry. Along with their leaders, decided to attack and stone them. Then the apostles learned of it. They fled to the region of Lycaonia, I think, to the towns of Lystra and Derbe, and the surrounding area. And there they preached the good news. While they were in Lystra, Paul and Barnabas came upon a man with crippled feet. He had been that way from birth, so he had never walked. He was sitting, not even a punctuation mark, but that is the end of the verse. And yeah, let's now move over. We were to read it. It does end with a semicolon in the King James. And there sat a certain man at Lystra, impotent in his feet, being a cripple from his mother's womb, who never had walked. Semicolon, end of verse. And yeah, so let's move over to Daniel. So this is the writing on the wall. So Daniel is telling them the interpretation. Mene, tekel, upharsin. This is the interpretation of the thing. Mene, God have numbered thy kingdom and finished it. Tekel, thou art weighed in the balances and art found wanting. Paris, thy kingdom is divided and given to the Medes and the Persians. Then commanded Belshazzar, and they clothed Daniel with scarlet and put a gold chain around his neck, and they made a proclamation concerning him that he should be third ruler in the kingdom. And that night, Belshazzar, the king of the Chaldeans, was slain. And Darius the Median, who ended up loving Daniel, and I believe was also a sheep, because he said the same things Nebuchadnezzar did after he saw basically a miracle. And Darius the Mede took the kingdom, being about 62 years old. It pleased Darius to set over the kingdom 120 princes, which should be over the whole kingdom, and over these 3 presidents. So over the 120, there were 3 presidents, of whom Daniel was first, that the princes might give accounts unto them, and the king should have no damage. Then this Daniel was preferred above all the presidents and princes because an excellent spirit was in him. And the king thought to set him over the whole realm. This is why Daniel is my favorite book in the Bible, because he's living in Babylon as we are, but he just went about his business and he had an excellent spirit about him. That is like, along with all the other things Daniel received, that's like the greatest thing a sheep can have, is to just walk around filled with joy and happiness and just doing your job to the utmost, to where everybody, even those that hate you, are like, because they could find no fault in him. That's said at various times uh, throughout the book of Daniel. So they end up setting him up, and that's what this chapter is about. Anyway, volume stay good. I'm glad to hear. I love you very much. Ask questions anytime. That's what I'm here for.